Once again, we made it. And I have to tell you, one of the fun things about just being older is that you have life and life experiences. And so when you catch things on the news, sometimes you just kind of like, we've seen this before. Apparently, Pakistan and Afghanistan are going to war. I don't know much about the background. I really don't. But the first thing that came to mind was, haven't we tried this before? Afghanistan is funny. It's one of those places where it seems like nobody could ever go there and conquer them. The Soviets tried, failed. The US tried to contain it, failed. I think the British had a little thing with them for a little bit. They're not there right now. Pakistan. I'm a little spoiled. Being the Gen X generation, you know, we were younger siblings to and or raised by Vietnam era people. And I think we had an instinctive and default anti-war stance, generally speaking. It came back up during 9/11 and the days after that, but I don't think Gen Xers are really war people. So I just passed the school zone. I don't know if you can see, somebody just flew past me here. I guess going that 15 miles an hour in a school zone is a little bit upsetting for them. Do we want another war in Afghanistan? And the US won't be involved, highly doubtful. This is Pakistan. Let's be real, Pakistan, they've got a nuclear arsenal. They could do some damage if they wanted to. But why do people keep trying to mess with Afghanistan? Is it the terror? Are they that high on the terrorism support chain? I don't know. Like I said, a lot of stuff that I'm aware of. When I say aware of, a lot of stuff that I know about are things that are in my everyday life. You know, the world news, it's important. Of course it is. Good morning, good morning. But I really don't know. I'm not informed enough to have an educated opinion. Like, you know, when I think Afghanistan, I'm still thinking on the Taliban. And I know the Taliban is still a thing. But didn't we make some sort of, hey, we don't hate you anymore pact with the Taliban? I don't know. So this whole thing with Afghanistan and Pakistan, especially knowing that Pakistan could literally light up about 4 or 5 countries before anybody snapped their fingers. Good morning. Nice to see you. And this doesn't usually go too long anyway. DT, good morning. But and plus it's Friday. You know, and I think that's part of the reason why I had the eye roll when I woke up and I listened to the news and they're talking about Pakistan invading or going to war with Afghanistan. Like, don't go to war with Afghanistan. You just lose money, you lose troops, and you lose morale. Even if you win the conflict. Afghanistan's rugged. Yeah, the caretaker conversation, because I have sharp right turn for anyone who doesn't understand. So I'm making steps towards officially being a caretaker for my wife who has multiple sclerosis. DT here has gone through some of that process. How are we this morning? And so, you know, a lot of what we talk about, you know, I babble on about randomness. I know this. I appreciate the fact that there are people that want to say, all right, let's see what this dude is babbling on about now. But some of the randomness is serious, and it's life things. And, you know, we all have our things, and I have some things. And luckily, we have folks that we can have a conversation with and learn. Because, yeah, and that's my personality flaw. As soon as I sense the red tape, I check out. I'm like, I don't want to go through all of this. I'd rather just shoot pool. I would rather shoot pool. I have not checked. I have been swamped. I have been swamped over the last 2 or 3 days. And when I said yesterday was a good day, we're wading through the remainder of said swamp. So eyes are a little bloodshot, you know, and that's the thing. If anybody out there does IT, you can do a here. Do we still do here? But you can do the here thing, because there is no such thing as hours. You know, there's no such thing. When you're doing IT, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody could call you and say, yeah, production is down, we need results. And you just get to it. So I had a situation. Oh no, I can't do web design. I'm the networky guy. I am a huge SharePoint advocate. Pretty much the entire, really in the year 2026, if you're not a B- with the Microsoft 365 platform, you're gonna have a hard time, because a lot of people, oh, networking. Okay, in order to get networking, you have to be a math nerd. You have to be, because when you get into the subnetting, and it's, yeah, that's the Muppet smile, the numbers, man. And it's, you can literally kind of see the matrix. But I in my house, now, I am not a person full of finances. Most of my computers are second or third hand. My server is second hand. So I don't have all the resources to have like a real, like, modern day lab. But I have 5 subnets in my own house. I have one subnet that is segregated from the rest of the network in the house, and that subnet is for viruses. So any and all malicious things, all the dark webby things, that goes to that subnet, so I can see what's out there. And my wife doesn't understand. She doesn't have to. I got this. But yeah, that's the networking. It's like the networking is the fun stuff to me. If I didn't have to physically touch anything but a keyboard and maybe an occasional firewall, I would be happier than a pig in fecal matter. I like being in the cockpit. Go ahead and throw your jokes in there. But yeah, it's Friday. Apparently, we're sitting here talking about networking nerdism. You know the problem with the hardware? I am clumsy. I used to work for Hewlett-Packard directly. And part of what I did was I was the guy that would show up and with the part, take apart the laptop, put the part back in, and then, you know, do all that stuff, the on-site repair. And I enjoyed the work. I loved the work, but I am just clumsy. I am, apparently I'm super clumsy, and I'm the guy that will sit there. HP laptops, they're like a stack of flapjacks. You don't just have a motherboard. I don't even know how to describe it. It's been a while since I actually looked at an HP take apart. But yeah, I mean, Dells are simple. Lenovo's, they're pretty simple. HP's, for some odd reason, they put all the stuff in there. I mean, maybe in order to make it so you can, like, you can take out the wireless card in an HP and, you know, upgrade it and all that stuff. Yeah, DT, we'll figure that out, because, yeah, I don't know. Does YouTube have a DM thing? I don't know how that goes, but yeah, we'll figure that out. But, hold on, this truck is kind of swaying here. Somebody made a comment yesterday, and the way this happens is kind of like when you got your kid in the passenger seat, and they say something and you kind of look at them. And so somebody made a comment about unsafe behavior, and that really kind of, I don't know if anyone can tell, but it kind of stopped me there. The word unsafe is a big deal to me. And so I say that to say, I'm sitting here on the interstate in cruise control at 71 miles an hour. German. Not like German, but German. Okay. And there's another thing. Yeah, so the adult ADD is kicking in. If you looked at some of the, when I first started doing this as I was driving, I really didn't know what it really meant, content creating. You know, it wasn't really my thing. Right here. But when I moved into Appalachia, like I was raised in Maryland, lived in Central PA, lived in North Carolina, but never in like really mountainous areas. And I still get just googly when I drive through the mountains and you dive into those clouds and you get those layer clouds. Hey, I'm in West Virginia. Just about to pass through Bluefield. Well, I haven't gotten to Princeton yet. But, so if you're in West Virginia, you get what I'm saying. Like, I've only lived in West Virginia for almost 2 years now. So I still not far apart. I still get fascinated by the terrain. And in the back of my mind, I still kind of think about when it wasn't modern, you know, when it was, you know, not everybody had, you know, indoor plumbing, central air, central heat, all of these things. This is a rugged area with modern amenities, and I don't know how to pronounce that word. But this is a rugged area, and that's what makes it fascinating, because I think it's just, I don't know, I don't have words. It's which is horrible for a talking platform. But I have, okay, Pike County, that's Kentucky, right? So the personality of the Appalachian people that I've met. I haven't met a surly person yet. And I say that not to say that everybody's all dimply and wonderful. What I'm saying is people seem to know how to behave. People seem to know how to behave. And I actually commended one of my boy's teachers, my youngest boy. He's a piece of work. He's got the personality of a hockey player. And, you know, especially if you have kids, you know, look, we all love our kids, but they're not perfect, and you got to be real about what they are. Kim, that's horrible. That's but okay, that caught me. But his teacher sent an email to me saying that, you know, look, fine so far, but I just want to make sure that he understands that we need to speak to people respectfully. And yes, all of the teachers do that now, but it was kind of, I know my kid, he gets away with a lot of stuff. And so the fact that they focus, yes, ABC's the 1, 2, yeah. But the personality of the Appalachians seems to be really centered on genuine respect. See, this is what I always said about North Carolina. When I talk North Carolina, we're talking the Triangle and the Piedmont area. I've said that specific to North Carolina, there is no Southern hospitality. It's bipolar disorder. And it's a joke. I'm not trying to trigger anyone who knows or has bipolar disorder. But they're not real about their respect. What I've experienced in West Virginia, they're real about their respect. And I do kind of nerd out on history things. If you check it out, I've been nerding out on Marvin Gaye's What's Going On album, because when I started re-listening to it, because it came out before I was born. So, and my dad listened to it up and down. Smoke that gas. Okay, so I'm not good with lingo, but I'm assuming when you say smoke that gas, no, this is just a Nick thing. That's all. We don't get too much. I'm kind of boring in that respect. Definitely not here. I am an advocate, though. But I guess that's another thing that I learned. So when I got here, I started kind of nerding out on the history. Because when you're raised in Maryland, you kind of hear things about West Virginia and Kentucky specifically. But you're raised in Maryland. And that's the good thing about actually getting out of where you're from and actually meeting people, because everything that they tell you when you're raised in a place like Central Maryland, it's just wrong. You have to meet people. You have to go places. And so being here, like I said, learning the people made me want to understand, you know, the history of the area. And everyone knows about Hatfields and McCoys. Everyone knows about that. But the Appalachians, if there's any one thing history tells us, you just don't come here and start trouble. That's not going to go well. You can show up, be peaceful, do your thing, and that's fine. They're not going to bother you. They'll say hello to you. They'll get to know you. And if you come across like you don't, I'm the person that kind of walks with my head down. So if you come across, the meth thing is horrible. And I don't even know about the, what is that stuff that's going on? I've seen it and heard of Philadelphia. Good morning, how are we? But what is it called that, it's the one where people are like standing and they become zombies or something. But I don't know. Drugs in general, like I said, when we talk about the natural, it's exactly that. It's natural. I mean, you can, in some places, just go out and get it. I'm alive. It's Friday. I'm alive. And I tell people when I show up at the office, they say, how you doing? I say, well, I woke up and they let me in the door. I think this is the part of my personality that kind of fits very well here. I'm thankful to wake up every morning. And I am thankful to have the job that I have. I'm thankful for my insane children. And yes, I'm thankful for the constant struggle that is multiple sclerosis and trying to keep my wife happy and maintain everything in the midst of it all. Now, thankful doesn't mean I like it all. But it's one of those things when you get older, you understand that the things you go through, thank you, but you understand the things you go through make your world what it is. And I enjoy the world that I'm in right now. It's not 100%. I enjoy it. Baseball season's about to start. And we're alive this morning. But the general attitude I get here is that there are people that are genuinely thankful to be where they are and have what they have. I was raised kind of spoiled. It took me a while to mature. My kids are spoiled. We've all met other kids, we've all been ourselves, and we've all met other people. Especially as Americans, we're kind of spoiled. We live in a country where most kids at age 13 expect to have a cell phone. And that's not a new thing. How much is a cell phone? And don't get your kid that $50 thing at the Walmart. Then they'll give you an attitude. But the history of Appalachia, a lot of poverty, a lot of struggle, a lot of outsiders coming in to take advantage of the region and causing political and social strife. I've actually said that when we talk about systemic government behavior, Appalachia's kind of been treated like inner cities. You get these outsiders that come in with their, things, and they kind of disrupt things. You got political influence and all that stuff, and it's all about the resources. In inner city, it's all about the votes and the influence, because they don't do anything. In Appalachia, all about trying to have your influence to have the resources, but they kind of don't do anything. Helene, and this is like what, last year, year and a half ago? Helene blew through here, and I listened to the radio and I watched the news, and I heard about the struggle that occurred in Western North Carolina, waiting for the government entities to help. Where I was at the time in West Virginia, they just got to work and started clearing up stuff. And I'm not saying that didn't happen in North Carolina, and I do understand that North Carolina got slaughtered compared to what West Virginia got. But if I heard the news correctly, there were government entities stopping people from taking care of business themselves. I don't live too far from Odd. I do not live too far from Odd. And if you're bringing up Odd, I think I know the family that you're talking about. And I've read articles and I've seen the YouTube, but I don't know. I wish I knew where the dang house that is, but no. But if I understand, whoa! Let me tell you what just happened here. Pennsylvania tags here. So I'm in the right-hand lane. I was in cruise control going 70. So you know when you're in the mountains, you're going uphill. You'll get that third lane on the right for the trucks to slow down. Yeah? So that third lane on the right, what'll happen, and I mentioned Pennsylvania tags because he should know better. This person was using the right-hand lane to shoot that gap and try to cut in between my 3-second space between my son, and yeah, that's a big deal. But, and there's a trooper there. I hope he saw him. I told you all. I went over this with some police officer relatives of mine. And when you do something like this, you have to understand safety is always your number one concern. And that's why it hurt my heart when someone made that comment. But yeah, I have a video on a little bit ago when I had to go get my wife in the hospital in the snow. And there's a car that was speeding coming downhill and he lost it. And I'm going uphill. And he just went right across. And in the video I said, this is a problem. And it just kind of, but you know, when you're driving in inclement weather, you kind of, you know, first and foremost, keep the wheel steady. And second of all, man, don't slam on the brake. Don't slam on the brake. My dad taught me that. We talk about driving too. And my dad and my driver's ed teacher, I went to Old Mill High School. You all take care. But I went to Old Mill High School. That's Millersville, Maryland. My driver's ed teacher was a man named Dennis Shook. I do not know if he's still alive. I do not know what he's doing right now. But Dennis Shook was one of the best teachers, and it just so happens he was a driver's ed teacher. Because, you know, I don't know how teachers are now. I mean, from the outside looking in, I think they're soft. Full disclosure, my degree is in mathematics education. Part of the reason that I did my student teaching, I said, I got to be able to put hands on these kids. And that's kind of the point, the disciplinary faction or factor. Stevensville. All right. But yeah, but Mr. Shook, first day of class, he pretty much let it be known that, you know, you're going to get these driving simulators and you're going to do your thing and you're going to learn. But when you get out in the vehicle, you need to understand that you can do serious damage to and or kill somebody. My dad said the same thing. And my dad had the worst driving habits ever. But my dad taught me driving theory so far as how you should think. He would tell me things like, when you're in that lined up traffic, even if everyone's going 65, 70, but it's, you know, still kind of crowded, make sure you're looking through the windshield. Do not follow folks who have tinted windshields in traffic. Why? You can't see through them. You'll never see the brake light ahead of you. When you're on a bend, you're not steering for the bend that you're on. You're steering for the end of the bend. Things like that. Never trust a signal light. Eye contact in that front wheel. When you are in a situation where traffic is moving about, people are doing things, you have whatever going on not only in your head but also in your vehicle. You're looking, you can't sit there and say, okay, that guy had his signal light on, so I'm good to go. No, that's not enough. You have to see the intent, you have to see the eyes. And like I said, I started driving when I was 13. And Mr. Shook was the same way. He had us doing those little cone drills. I don't know if all driver's ed classes do that, but we did the cone drills that like police officers do. And he had like 2 different cars, because you have like the car you take the kids out in. And Mr. Shook told me about driving in snow. And yes, my dad had me driving in snow before, but he said that if you have an area where you can park and you can, like, you're not worried about hitting anything, and you're not sure about the snow, go to that. Or you want to practice driving in snow, you find that parking lot or someplace and you just go there and just drive straight, slam on the brake, learn how it feels, all that stuff, kind of shuffle around, basically get yourself a practice field where you'll be safe and not damage your vehicle or property or anything like that. Little things. That's how I learned to drive. But it was funny because we were talking about this before. I don't think they 12 anymore. I had heard something different. But part of 10 and 12 when you're on your steering wheel, 10 and 2, when you're on your steering wheel, was so that you could hold your map right there, or your directions, your instructions, whatever, right there, so you could hold like that, you know. All things that you wouldn't do now because you have the display, big giant display. Sit there and check that out, see where you are, see where you need to go. And it's a touch screen, so you don't have to really do anything. You can talk to it. I don't know how I went from talking about Appalachia to talking about driving. It gets kind of random here. But, you know, never say woo in a mud hole. Happy Friday. And you said never say woo in a mud hole. I know of a Ric Flair story that applies to. But somebody had told me that. So I am a 1-car person. I have been told if you're going to live in West Virginia, you gotta have a beater, because your car is going to take a beating just because you're in West Virginia. So if by chance it comes to pass anybody's got like a cheap beater they want to sell, I might be in the market for it. But I am about 10 minutes from the office here. I'm going to go ahead and get my head right so we can make sure this is in fact a happy Friday. And we're going to celebrate this Friday. So everybody out there, be safe. Have a happy Friday. If I don't see you over the weekend, have a great weekend. And I'm going to enjoy Appalachia and get my boys ready for baseball. You all take care. Now comes a creepy finger across the screen.